What's up, guys and gals? It's Griever here, bringing you guys Ayakashi Triangle, Chapter 17. Quick recap of the fact that somehow I missed the fact that all the Viz translation came out 2 days early. Normally they come out on Sunday. Did I miss something? Did I miss the newsletter? Or are they now all of a sudden scheduled for Friday? I'm not a huge Twitter guy, guys, so maybe I missed that. But either way, now... I'm a couple of days now. I'm like 3 or 4 days late with the Ayakashi Triangle review, and I thought I was sort of on time with the One Piece one. Meanwhile, I'm 2 days behind. So that being said, we are here for chapter number 17. This chapter, once again, we're starting off with another cast of characters. We're adding to the dynamic of the series. I really enjoyed this chapter. I thought it was a good setup chapter, but that is the start and end of the chapter. In all honesty, that's basically the get-go, right? We get introduced to this new character whose name, I pull up the chapter here so I didn't screw this up, Sosuke Hinojiki. So Sosuke Hinojiki is this new transfer student, new guy. He's apparently a pretty boy. He's drawn like a pretty boy, and he's looking for Suzu Kanade. So he goes around asking about her. They're all talking. They're all doing some other stuff. Matsuri gets some guys looking at her because he's her now, and so they're all like, oh man, we'll make you internet sensation and stuff. Soga shows up, of course, and basically scares them off with his appearance, his shark-like appearance, as I believe Lou is the one who says he looks like a shark. But then this guy comes around to Suzu and whispers something in her ear, and he walks off with her. Or him, or whatever. So they walk off together. They find this small little like hairball sort of Karibo looking mouse thing, Ayakashi, that seems to be injured. By the sounds of it, it says maybe it wandered out from the forest and got hit by a car because normal people aren't able to see Ayakashi. That implies that Ayakashi that they are vulnerable to humans who can't even see them. So for example, if, once again, this is a perfect example, if a car is driving by, they are no different than a raccoon, or a deer, or a rat, or a mouse, or anything else that can get hit by a car commonly on a road. If an Ayakashi walks out, the people can't see them, but they still can run them over, sort of idea. So they are still bound by those laws. I never really gave that much thought, but that's good to know. That might be very vital later on in the story. That's good information to have here, because that means foreshadowing for later on when people are like, wait a minute, how is that possible? And they start questioning things 200 chapters later. You actually go back. It's sort of like Bleach. A lot of people, argue about a lot of power scaling in Bleach and stuff. They're like, how is that possible? It's like, well, that was all explained actually back in chapter 5. Nobody remembers chapter 5, when we're into the big main stories and all the superpowers. People tend to forget the explanations back early on in the beginning of a series, right? So, that being said, so this guy puts on a pretty good act. Says, I'm scared to get near them. I avoid them as much as possible, but I saw one. I wanted to heal it, blah, blah, blah. So Suzu tries her best to heal it with her Haku, right? So she's starting to get a hang of it, imagining replenishing its life, woohoo, and actually manages to heal the little Karibo thingy. And it's all like, all right, it's all good, right? It's all good. So this guy's nice. He can see them, but he's frightened of them. He probably has a sordid past. Maybe he's a little emotionally distant or something, right? That's what we expect. And then he eats the damn thing. He eats it. And Suzu's just like, what? And then he's like, so this is the Haku that you have. The life energy of an Ayakashi medium. Suzu Kanade. You're the best. Right? And all that stuff. So Creep Central right off the bat, ladies and gentlemen. We have Creep 101. Pick up a Creeps for Dummies book because this guy is the title character. Definition 101. So Shirogane has followed Suzu, realizing that Suzu was hanging out with a random boy and wasn't sure. So Shirogane's looking and seems to be sweating. Once again, remember, Shirogane, and this is like part of the solution, but part of the problem. Remember, Shirogane's at I've always said less than 10%, because he said most of his power is gone because of that scroll. So I give it from 0 to 10%. He's able to maintain a form. He's got a couple of jutsus he can still pull off. So I give it at most, he's got 10% of his original power, which amounts to probably very little. And that's being on the high side, no more than 10%. You could even argue that he's at 1%, right? Shirogane, Lord of the Ayakashi, we don't know. He could be Super Saiyan God level for all we know. We have no idea what his true amount of power is, right? If he went all out, could he destroy the planet? We don't know. Is he a planet buster? We don't know. So, assuming that we haven't seen the full extent of that, he's in this very small bracket. So right now he's sweating. He can't really do much. And he's just like he's watching on. It can't be. He is, and he realizes it. And then Suzu's very worried about this. This new Sosuke guy attacked Suzu. And what happened to my throat just now? I had like a hiccup inside of talking. Anyways, so Suzu gets captured by this guy, right? This Sosuke. And Shirogane does actually attempt to intervene, but fails. And all that's left behind is her phone. And that's when we have the two ninjas, of course. We have Soga and Matsuri. They show up saying, Shirogane, what was that energy? Suzu was kidnapped by the highest form, and Ayakashi evolved from an icon. They were already discussing Soga and Matsuri were discussing the unusual amount of icon Ayakashi showing up in the countryside. That doesn't make sense because icon are feeders of human emotions, negative emotions. They're more common in the city. Their influx here doesn't make much sense. We already knew that Shirogane was kind of worried about that, a chapter or two ago. And now Shirogane says his shape and presence was more human-like, so I didn't recognize him right away. That's my bad. She's been kidnapped. The Jinyo, apparently the Jinyo is a humanoid Ayakashi, so similar to Garaku. Garaku must also either be an icon, or that transformed this far, or a Jinyo. Definitely a Jinyo. Definitely not an icon because he was born from the painter's brush. So it's a different sort of thing. Shirogane is born from a cat species. So I'm not sure. We'll probably get a breakdown later on in the series explaining how all these characters match up in different tables and how they all reach a certain pinnacle. But right now, it's seemingly that, once again, just like Inuyasha, demons, which, I mean, it hasn't changed. In the years of manga and fiction, it hasn't changed. The ones that look like humans are always the more deadly. The ones that take on these gross, grotesque monster forms are usually very powerful, usually not in charge, usually not the main bad, usually not the strong one. The strongest are always the ones that take the appearance of a human, of a Homo sapien. That is generally how it works. I've said it well before this chapter in these reviews. Now you guys are seeing what I'm talking about. Like, you just need to have watched manga or read manga and watched anime long enough to know the humanoids are always the most deadly. They're always the most dangerous. If vampires in your series are these giant bat-like creatures, the most dangerous one is the one that looks like a traditional vampire, right? Same with the werewolf, like using the classic monster. Same with the werewolf, same with the demon. You have demons. They look like these grotesque monsters that are in the closet, right? But the most dangerous ones are ones like Inuyasha's brother Sesshomaru. That dude is that is the most dangerous dude in that whole goddamn series. Like, and he looks like a pretty boy from Sailor Moon. So, right? So, I really like that they have definitely included this, that the one that can transform into a human, that can take a physical shape and trick other humans into believing they're human, are the most dangerous. So this is no different. I don't mind that cliche because it works. It holds validation and I like it. This chapter is setting up for we're starting to get into more of an arc here. All right, I hope this isn't a carbon copy rescue arc like a lot of series do. But I don't want this to be one and done in like 2 more chapters. I want this looks like a good start to branch out into a bigger sort of, let's actually start the foundations of an arc, of a full arc. And I'm really happy for that. So this has been Ayakashi Triangle Chapter 17. Not much more to say about it. It was, as I said, I'm really looking forward to the next couple of chapters. I think this was really well handled, and I really hope that they utilize this as the start of a new arc. I mean, if you're going to do the Bleach thing, if you're going to be like, all right, we're going to do a rescue arc of one of the main heroines, go ahead and do it. You know, I miss Bleach well enough. This series has made no attempts to hide the cliches, to hide the tropes. They're utilizing them to maximum effect. That's what they're doing, right? And I don't care. I don't mind it. It's great art. It's fun story, fun characters, and it works. I'm good with it. So I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from with that. I hope you like the series. I hope you like the reviews. If you do, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Always very much appreciated. This has been Griever with your Ayakashi Triangle Chapter 17 3-4 day late review. Hope you guys enjoyed. Drink responsibly as always. We'll see you back here next time.